Good Earth, everyone. Today I've got two very special
And
guests.
welcome to Rikileaks if you're watching this on Rikileaks. Sorry.
Yes. Today I've got the host of Rikileaks with me, Alexia Icenhower. Jeff, where did my description go now? I don't know.
Mamora.
Mamora?
Yeah.
Master Jeff Mamora. And I've been fascinated. I have been in roundtables with Alexia and thought her take on health and wellness have been very interesting. And Jeff has come to my attention as well as somebody who's done some amazing things from Indonesia. But I can't do justice to your bios. So I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves. But just to say, we're going to dive into 5D health as a discussion, as a topic today and beyond, because we don't intend to stay in 5D, right? So how are we moving from where we are now into 5D and beyond, and some of the protocols and things that can help people through and be the bridge really to the new world and the new earth that we're moving into. Alexia, I'll hand over to you. You can maybe introduce yourself and then Jeff, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Anina. Okay, so Jeff and I have been working together since late 2019. It became very adamant that we got certain information to the public when 2020 came, and then 2021 with the vaccine rollout here in America. It started off as just trying to get people over the COVID, and we are not one of the people who say COVID is fake, as in it's not there, because it does pronounce itself with really, really thick mucus where you can hardly breathe, hardly bring stuff up. So people didn't know how to deal with basic COVID in the beginning. So we got our information out there and we'll go over our version of a protocol here shortly, but we got people the information that they were ever so slightly missing. And then 2021, the vaccine came out and people just started having the weirdest, like 45, 50-year-old women who haven't had their period in like 10 years started having menstrual cycle again after getting the shot. The weirdest things. Obviously, a lot of heart attacks and the thick blood. So we started getting Jeff's breath work out there, nitric oxide that you can make with your body. And then, of course, supplementing things that I think here in America, we have more of a problem. We have a worse nutrition in our food situation. We have more probably chemtrails and all the stuff that is being put in our food and air. So we, of course, realized that stuff that may have worked before with little colds or flus, it was taking a little bit more out of us. So I was his guinea pig for like 2 or 3 years for a lot of the different like pine barks and whatever he was making. He is amazing at creating his own little apothecary. I'll have him get to that. But we realized that the world has changed. He's obviously a master, and with different mastery, the I Ching, we have hexagram 29, and it's like if the world is changing, you don't avoid the abyss, basically. You go through the pit twice. And the second time you go through the pit, you have to balance in whatever is being thrown your way in your environment. So we had to learn what was new in the environment. We had to test things, see what worked. And my favorite thing, I'm going to give it over to Jeff now. My favorite thing that came out of that whole time was one of his concoctions called Rescue 19, but he still, since 2019 came out, even that concoction has like changed 4 times, because that's how much the US government is attacking us with all these different things. So Jeff, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's an
Blessings.
evolving thing. Jeff, I would love to also just take maybe a step back and give people a little bit of a background on who you are and your background also in the wellness sector, because I think that's quite fascinating. Alexia just told me a little bit, but I'd love to hear from you.
Okay. Well, maybe like a short background. Basically, I came from Indonesia as a dying wish of my mother. My mom was dying of ovarian cancer. So, but I was already a functional alcoholic addict since I was 11 years old. So I got her at age 17. Even though I was depressed, suicidal, my relationship with whatever you perceive as God is very real, even though I was not quote unquote good. So there's a lot of that's thousands of miracles every day in terms of many spiritual awakenings and realizations. But I was continue doing what I say non-conducive things until I was like dying. I was promoting clubs in Hollywood for 15 years. I was on painkillers all the time. I worked with criminally insane for over 20 years. I sustained damage in all aspects for all those times. 2 surgeries, work related, from physical assaults, countless physical assaults, and all type assaults. Basically, I was dying. So, in many attempts of doing, I'm going to say improper word here, we call it half-assed. It's basically, oh, I'm dying. Let me just finally surrender to the universe or God, whoever God is to you. But then I wasn't fully committed until I had no other way to be fully committed because my liver was gone, kidney was gone. I couldn't even feel myself. There's one morning that I remember that I saw with just thousands of demons in the mirrors. I couldn't even feel myself. And I had like massive breakdown and I surrendered. Then I was presented, this is what crazy, I was presented with LifeWave. This was at 2006. And
so you've been there like literally from the start.
Yeah, from 2006. But again, nobody knew how to apply the products because I was extremely complicated. I mean, I was on 15 medications every day. I had 4 medication for just acid reflux, 4 or 5 medication for my sinuses. If my sinuses is not dry, I would literally have a sinus spike, like a extreme high fever in a matter of half hour. I was on all kind of antibiotics. It was a lot of nights I had to sleep on the wedge because if I just lay flat, I would cough until I throw up. So this sexy voice is a damaged vocal cord. This isn't.
Oh my!
That's called experience. That's called life.
Yeah, well, I call it transmutation. So, so that's to make the long. Then further along of dying mode, not until I had to learn of applying these patches on my own. So because all the expert was just business builders, they didn't know much about healing. So I created my own protocols. I had to dive deep and then do all kind of research, let go of all that stuff. Then when I was coherent enough, maintaining the customized protocol, because that's what I do, is basically coherence in all aspects. All of a sudden, at the core, I'm a behaviorist, even though I'm not a psychiatrist, but I could run around a whole treatment team because, I was even rewarded as I piloted the program in the state of California dealing with criminally insane of industrial therapy, where you actually employ the criminally insane. But then all what I was trying to get across is because of the biocoherence, the spiritual mental coherence, then I was able to apply what I've been applying like 1,000 times to my old, we call it patients or individuals. We weren't even allowed to call them patients anymore. We have to call them individuals. I started applying it to me, and then I had a spiritual awakening. In that spiritual awakening, I had a full-blown Kundalini awakening. And then from then on, I activate Kundalini awakening in others organically. So what I utilize right now, even then, what the way I call LifeWave as crystal patches, is basically to create a customized grid in the body, just like you're creating a crystal grid on your altar, on your sacred space. So you maintain that coherence. And then whatever
like that you sacred geometry in a way.
Yeah, but then it's customized. It doesn't look pretty sometimes. Yeah, and it's not symmetrical.
Mm.
because we're not symmetrical.
Mm.
And, but an acupuncture point actually move
Mm.
every 1 or 2 hours, even faster now because it's trying to adapt to all this fuckery that was being thrown energetically and spiritually. So, and then I learned more about biohacking, this and that. And so my hashtag, my approach is I call it beyond biohacking. So I use the LifeWave crystal patches and any other healing tools as a spiritual and energetic tools, even as sacred tea or even as simple as water, salt, gratitude. So maybe that's a little bit too long, but there you go.
No, that's fascinating. Thanks for that background. Alexia, I didn't get to ask you how you got into like health and wellness. Maybe a quick.
I was dying. Everyone is just like, well, I was dying. It's funny because like in I Ching, the hexagram 40 is like, okay, so after you were almost dying, how do you get back on the horse without being scared of the horse? And how do you go through the fire again? So for me, I was 2016, I was working at a really, really scary, bad place. We just called it a state foundation. Every state has it. I thought I was being Robin Hood, giving from the rich or taking money from the rich, giving it to the poor. But what really was going on was it was an election year. There were two biggest funds were John McCain and Hillary Clinton. And they were both giving money. There was also, like, of course, a crazy hurricane that wrecked Haiti and Puerto Rico. Yeah, so we gave money from Hillary Clinton's campaign and John McCain's campaign to these victims and children in Haiti. So I saw literally the money. I saw the money laundering. So I was like, oh my gosh, this place is crazy. All of our, I did all the like accounting, I wasn't the accountant, but like after they were done with billings and stuff, I would have to like sort it and put it away. So we were always only getting one or two attorney bills a season. As you do, the attorneys come in and they just have a 1 hour meeting, and I always saw those invoices. Well, those invoices from the attorneys started being like 10, 12, and the attorneys were in all the time, and then they took everyone in the company, put us in a fishbowl, and they're like, hey, if you get any questions regarding Hillary Clinton campaign funding, send them to the media person. And I was a smoker at the time, so I went downstairs to go smoke after this meeting, and the media lady, was in the elevator with me, and she's like, quit now. This is like bad stuff is about to happen. And I was like, oh my gosh. My husband at the same time was in the National Guard, Arizona, and he was getting his troops. The battalion was going to Guantanamo Bay to make Guantanamo Bay bigger and like widen the corridors, add buildings. And apparently Guantanamo Bay was in the future going to hold a lot of criminals, like a lot of criminals. So at my work, I saw all these conspiracies coming to life. At his work, he was dealing with it. We were hearing Alex Jones and all the rumors at the time. And I'm like, my sister actually told me, like, that's your job. Like, this is what you're talking about. So I had stage 3 kidney disease this entire time. I was smoking nicotine, and let me tell you, nicotine almost killed me. So I knew right then that anyone who pushed nicotine was full of bullshit, because nicotine drains us of our trace minerals and other stuff. So nicotine is bullshit, and anyone who says it works, well, they're still allowed everywhere, and they're probably called a doctor. So they're
you
con
reckon
artists.
It's not the chemicals,
If they say
it's the
that.
actual nicotine that's the culprit or in.
Oh, no. I was on native nicotine plants with 0 chemicals added. It is bullshit. It is not good for the humans. So I was on that. I heard about detox stuff that was famous in 2016. I tried it. I did it out of order. I had a horrible, horrible time. And then I slowly got on chlorine dioxide, did a big cleanse there. I use Jim Humble, Andreas Caliger, and Carrie Rivera's their volume 2 book. They have a Healing the Symptoms Known as Autism series. I only trust volume 2, volume 3 not for anyone. They shouldn't be making it, but it was after she was taken to Germany and went quiet for a while that she came out with that one. So I don't agree with the third one. But this volume 2 is a lot of where we still, when I met Jeff and what he got us on, it is similar to that. You have to have minerals. You have to have like 90 minerals, and you have to have them a couple times a day because we burn through them so quickly. You have to have certain types of herbs just to get the body prepped and ready. We don't want to start sending bugs to our kidneys and liver if we're still killing bugs. We don't want to have this huge line of cars of bugs, basically, and that's when people get really, really sick. So I did that protocol. I went too heavy. I wasn't doing enough minerals, and then I met Jeff. This was probably 2.5 years into my recovery. And then Jeff got me on custom protocols, got me on LifeWave. And then my testimonials from LifeWave are just ridiculous. Like, I had a deviated septum. I had stabbed my foot with the Ninja blender blade, and I was almost not able to walk because my body creates too much scarring and too much scar tissue. So I wasn't able to hold weight on one of my feet. It was getting bad. I had horrible, horrible eyesight. I wear these more now for protection when we're online, but now I can see way better. I can see at night when I couldn't before, all because Jeff got me on the LifeWave patches. And then, of course, his little breathing exercises and cleansing and grounding and his water salt gratitude really helped that process.
Amazing. So it's amazing.
Wow.
A lot of healers actually are like, they have to go through that severe illness themselves before they can be a healer. It's like Chiron, the wounded healer, right? And it's true if you think about it. How can you heal others when you don't even know what it's like to be in a state of severe disease or illness, where you feel like you don't know what else to do? That's when you dig deep and you discover often that one thing that will just turn your life around, and you end up helping others. So that's beautiful. Not like today where the doctors decide, well, it's a well-paying job, so let's study to be a doctor. Never mind if we understand it or have an affinity for it. So it's a cool job and it pays well, so let's go. And so those are the true healers, where it's more of a calling, and you almost choose like a blueprint where you are going to go through illness so that you can, really, really know how to help others. And, a lot of us don't choose easy paths. So it's like, okay, we'll just choose the hardest path we can do. Like literally, you'll turn around just before death and you'll turn it around and you will be an amazing healer and you'll be able to help others. So I love that. I was going to ask you, Alexia, also about chlorine dioxide because, I'm using it, but I haven't gone that deep down the rabbit hole. And that's an interesting healing protocol. And then obviously the patches, which is sometimes it's difficult to describe to people what it does, right? Because it's not something that is tangible. It's not something that they can relate to necessarily, that they understand, even those in the awakening community. So maybe one of you give me your take on what you feel that technology is about, really, that crystal technology that they use and how it helps the body. Jeff, do you want to go?
The only thing I want to say to that, and Jeff's going to take over this conversation, is, okay, like our meridians always have a Chinese medicine book with all the meridians of the face of the body. Have one of those near you. We, especially in the Western Hemisphere, we are so bombarded with heavy metals, bugs, free radicals in our bodies that should not naturally be there, that the meridians are not exactly where they were 2,000 years ago when everything was perfect. It's not like that anymore. The I Ching tells us to recognize change, study the new tools, recalibrate, practice those tools, write down your stuff, and then apply with wisdom. You have to keep changing. So what we've noticed is those little meridians, you might think it's here, but after all the stuff in us, it's really over here. So if you're going, I spent thousands of dollars in acupuncture before I met Jeff. And what I learned was the meridian isn't where that tiny needle is anymore because we have so much stuff in us. So it actually has to be over here, which guess what? The LifeWave patches are about an inch big. They cover a big area. So you can still get the general area of the meridian, but move it ever so slightly. So that's what Jeff told me. That made the biggest difference and really opened my eyes. So Jeff, can you tell the batteries?
I'm just going to start with a very simple thing. We are beings of light, and not all
Okay, now you're back.
published that
Okay,
it's
we lost you after you
not,
said we're beings of light.
okay, let me repeat again. So we are beings of light, and the most organic, natural way for us to heal ourselves is using light. So basically, LifeWave crystal patches is, when they call it phototherapy, is basically light, energy, frequency. But it's not just like a certain frequency that would just do this and do that. What it triggers at the bottom line, it gives signal to the human body, animals, even I've seen it help plants. I've seen it help, just other things to create peptide. Now, peptide has energy signature of hundreds, if not thousands, of cascade or positive expressions energetically. And that's basically what it does. So carnosine is a peptide, glutathione is a peptide, aeon increase is a peptide, and it's not really being published, but that's that will help with cancer individuals. Then all of it, like the JHKCU, the AHKCU for X49, that's all that. Now, can the human body makes peptide without minerals and amino acids? Then the answer is no. This is why my level of miracle healings and testimonials, if you have not seen my testimonial album on Facebook, I urge you to check it out, because it's a whole different level of miracles, because all my students able to reduce pain and suffering in all aspects within seconds or minutes, even before using the patches, just using my techniques. So we use the patches, crystal patches, to create this energetic reward. So this customized protocol, what is the most conducive for them. Let's say they're an addict. Let's say they're addicted to certain things. It is much more achievable for them not to heal, to transform the addiction. So anything that you're trying to achieve, it makes it much more achievable and to sustain that. Because if you're not able to sustain, then it's fleeting. So what I do at the core is, with this, is number one, it's accessible in a lot of part of the, right? It is accessible. Is it applicable? Yes. So those are the first two. That's the number one. That's why we use a lot of this tools, including LifeWave crystal patches, for disaster relief. And if it's accessible, if it's applicable, then it's sustainable. So, and that's the main thing. That's why eventually David came out with the nutrition. But if you would have had the nutrition from back in the day, it's much more powerful. But unfortunately, it's not around anymore. But I still have some.
Here in America, at least.
Yeah. But that's why I customize other stuff, like could be herbs, but the majority is minerals and amino acids. So you could maximize glutathione, you could maximize carnosine, you could maximize X49, you could maximize. I created, formulated so many different products to work in conjunction with LifeWave crystal patches. So there you go.
That's amazing. And I think a lot of people, it's too intangible, too vague for them. They don't understand it. But the truth is, it's almost like it rebuilds all of your cells, right? Because of the peptides and the the stem cells that it stimulates. So it literally has an effect on every cell in your body. Obviously, wherever you have an issue or a disease, it will target that and enhance and start rebuilding, depending on how old you are, how long you have the problem. It may take longer, it may take shorter amount of time. But the point is, this is just like miracle technology. Uh, and the best part is also you can like re-age or age backwards, which is just like an awesome bonus because all your cells are renewing faster because we all lose our stem cells, right? I mean, I'm on my way to 60 soon. I'm like, I will be producing no stem cells by that time. So,
You
hello.
look good.
Well,
You look great.
I'm
You
only
look great.
52,
Yes.
but I mean, I feel like I'm heading for 60,
Mhm.
And I believe
That's
at 60,
wonderful.
you don't produce any stem cells anymore. So, yeah, then it's just downhill
Okay.
from there.
I need to
I mean,
add
most
a
of us
very
people, I don't even
go
believe
ahead.
in menopause if we are properly giving our body what we need. I'm like, we
Yeah.
shouldn't have to. And in this process, we have met women who are in their late 40s, early 50s, still
Mhm.
having monthly periods, no gray hair. And it's like, oh my goodness, because they've been on LifeWave for like a decade kind of thing at
Mm.
this point. So I have seen crazy stuff really quick before I go to Jeff. For people who don't know, it's literally a battery. We all know that watches, like the technical aspect of it, we all know that watches have crystals in them to help keep the time and everything. And it's a teeny tiny little crystal. That is how these crystals are woven into cotton and they're placed on you. They only last for 12 hours. I keep them on for 24 just because I do shower to shower kind of thing. But they're on you, and it's like if you have a little battery on you, and of course it's only going to last 12 hours because it's being used, and then you take it off. And our tools video, when you cleanse like something like that, when you remove demons, which is literally what we think parasites of the light are, we're light bodies, these parasites are taking light. So when you
Mm-hmm.
remove a healing device or a healing tool, it is now covered in demons. And the only way any alchemy modality says to bury that in sand. So it goes off to the dump, basically. We don't like to reuse tools that you've already healed in or someone else has healed in. That's my favorite thing about LifeWave.
Interesting.
Yes. So I'm uh, I'm I'm going to use the word analogy of battery, right? Because you kept bringing up battery. So basically, it's like a battery, yes, but the patches actually uses our energy as the battery,
Mm-hmm.
and it could last literally 10 seconds, and you will burn it out. If I was doing an exorcism in 10 seconds, it will burn it out. There's no longer functional because the body will recognize we're getting help. We're going to draw the energy from the patches.